I remember one April. That completely changed the way I gardened forever. It didn't start like a disaster. Actually, it felt like the perfect beginning. The sun finally came out after weeks of dull weather. The air felt warmer. Birds were louder. Even the soil looked ready. And that's the thing about April. It gives you just enough confidence to make mistakes. I walked outside that morning, coffee in one hand, seed packets in the other. And I thought to myself, this is it. The season has started. So, I rushed. I planted tomatoes earlier than I should have. Skipped soil preparation because I didn't want to waste time. And I watered everything heavily, thinking it would help. Then I waited. At first, everything looked fine. A few sprouts came up. Some leaves opened. And I thought, I nailed it. But gardening doesn't punish you immediately. It waits. 2 weeks later, things started changing. Leaves turned pale. Growth slowed down. Some seedlings just stopped. Then came the cold night. Not even a heavy frost. Just a temperature drop. The next morning, half my plants were gone. The rest, weak, stressed, barely holding on. And I remember standing there, staring at my garden, realizing something that hit harder than the loss itself. It wasn't bad luck. It was mistakes. Small ones, simple ones, the kind almost everyone makes in April. That was the year I understood something most beginners don't realize. April doesn't reward excitement. It rewards awareness. Every decision you make this month echoes through your entire growing season. So today, I'm going to walk you through the biggest gardening mistakes people make in April. Not just what they are, but why they happen and how to avoid them. Because if you fix these now, you won't just have a good garden. You'll have a completely different outcome. Before we dive in, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss the timing that actually matters. All right, let's get into it. Mistake number 10. Trusting the weather instead of the soil. April is deceptive. It tricks you. You step outside, feel warm air on your skin, and your brain instantly tells you, it's time. But here's what most people don't realize. Plants don't grow in air. They grow in soil. And in April, that soil is often still cold. This is one of the biggest hidden mistakes. Because above ground, everything looks ready. But below ground, it's a completely different story. Cold soil does 3 dangerous things. It slows down germination. It weakens root development. And it increases the risk of rot. So when you plant too early, your seeds don't fail immediately. They struggle. They sit in the soil longer than they should. And that delay exposes them to problems. Fungal disease, inconsistent moisture, nutrient imbalance. By the time they finally sprout, they are already behind. Now compare that to seeds planted at the right time. They germinate quickly, grow faster, establish strong roots early. That early advantage compounds over the entire season. So what's the solution? Stop guessing. Start checking. Use a soil thermometer. Learn your crop's ideal soil temperature. Be patient with warm season plants. Because in gardening, timing isn't about how early you start. It's about how right you start. Mistake number 9. Skipping soil preparation. Let's be honest. Soil prep isn't exciting. It doesn't feel productive. You don't see instant results. So a lot of people skip it. They go straight to planting because that feels like progress. But here's the reality. Planting is not where success begins. Soil preparation is. Think about it like this. You wouldn't build a house on a weak foundation. So why grow plants in unprepared soil? After months of changing weather, your soil is often compacted, nutrient depleted, poorly drained. If you plant into that, you are setting your plants up to struggle. And struggling plants don't suddenly become strong later. They stay weak. So what should you do? Start simple. Loosen the soil. Break up compaction. Add organic matter. Compost works best. Check drainage. Water shouldn't sit on the surface. This one step changes everything. Because when your soil is alive, your plants don't just survive, they thrive. Mistake number 8. Watering based on habit, not need. People think watering more means caring more. But plants don't work like that, especially not in April. In cooler weather, water evaporates slower, so your soil stays wet longer. And that's where problems begin. When soil stays constantly wet, roots lose oxygen, fungal diseases spread, growth slows down. And here's the tricky part. Overwatering doesn't look like overwatering. It looks like yellow leaves, drooping plants, slow growth. So most people think, my plant needs more water, and they make it worse. The smarter approach, let the soil guide you. Stick your finger into the soil. If it's still moist below the surface, don't water. Because healthy roots don't need constant water. They need balance. Mistake number 7. Doing everything at once. April creates urgency. You feel like you need to do everything immediately, so you plant everything in one go. But that creates a new problem. You get one big harvest, and then nothing. That's not efficiency. That's poor planning. Experienced gardeners think differently. They don't plant for speed. They plant for continuity. Space out your sowing by 1 to 2 weeks. Create overlapping growth cycles. This gives you longer harvests, better results, more consistency. It's the difference between a short success and a sustained one. Mistake number 6. Ignoring temperature swings. April weather is unstable. Warm days, cold nights. And that fluctuation stresses plants. Even without frost, sudden drops slow growth, damage leaves, shock seedlings. And if your plants are already weak, it can finish them off. Protection doesn't need to be complicated. Use row covers, plastic sheets, even old cloth. The goal is simple. Reduce shock. Because stable plants grow faster. Unstable ones just survive. Mistake number 5. Overcrowding. It feels like a smart move. You think you're maximizing space, but you're actually limiting growth. When plants are too close, roots compete, leaves block sunlight, air circulation drops, and that leads to disease, weak growth, lower yields. Spacing feels like loss, but it's actually an investment, because fewer healthy plants outperform many struggling ones. Mistake number 4. Skipping mulch. Mulch is one of the simplest upgrades you can make, and one of the most ignored. It stabilizes your garden. And in April, that's critical, because conditions keep changing. Mulch helps retain moisture, regulate temperature, reduce weeds. Without it, your soil is exposed. And exposed soil means stressed plants. Even basic mulch makes a difference. Don't overthink it. Just don't skip it. Mistake number 3. Starting warm crops too late. Warm season crops need time. A lot of it. If you wait until conditions are perfect, you are already behind. Tomatoes, peppers, and others need a head start. Starting indoors in April gives you stronger plants, earlier harvests, better yields. Delay that, and your whole season shifts later. Mistake number 2. Ignoring early pests. Pests don't appear suddenly. They build up. April is when it starts. If you ignore them now, they multiply quietly. And by the time you notice, it's already a problem. Early action is everything. Check your plants regularly. Act fast. Stay ahead. Mistake number 1. Waiting too long. This is the real problem, not mistakes. Delay. You tell yourself, I'll do it tomorrow. But April doesn't wait. And every delay shortens your season. Success in gardening isn't about perfection. It's about timing. And timing comes down to action. That moment I told you about, standing in my garden, realizing I waited too long, that stays with you. Because it teaches you something powerful. You don't lose a season overnight. You lose it slowly, through small delays. But the opposite is also true. You don't build a great garden overnight. You build it through small, smart actions. Starting now. So here's what I want you to do. Go outside. Check your soil. Start something. Fix one mistake. Take one step. Because that's how great gardens begin. Drop a comment below. What are you planting this April? And which mistake have you made before? Let's grow together. Subscribe, stay consistent, and let's make this your best gardening season yet. See you in the next one.